Okay, it's May 1, 2025. Today I'll be talking about dating and day game. And the topic I want to get to today is the idea of being cold to the girl. So we'll go into a little bit more detail for that, but you want to be cold so that you survive this dating and day game stuff for the long term. And I mean cold as in like your mentality, your emotions. And yeah, it has to be cold. Like you want to like it's not suppressed. It's kind of like it's cold, right? It's like you notice things or you see things, like you acknowledge it, but you don't let that really sway your emotions or your mind too heavily. And this was inspired by a phenomenon I noticed, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I'll explain a little bit more. So when a girl gives you like indicators of interest, or she shows you like IOIs for short, or she's like, she's texting you like with all these emojis, or maybe she's texting you super excited in a certain way, like exclamation mark, or maybe dragging her words a bit. Don't get emotionally affected. Acknowledge it and think like, okay, cool. I'll just see her when I come out or when she comes out. Don't match her energy. Just don't match her energy on that. Let her do that and you do your fucking thing, right? Whatever it is you want to do. Don't change how you want to be based on whatever the fuck she's doing. If she wants to act in a excited manner, or maybe she does like you and she acts a certain way, let her fucking act that way. Don't match her fucking energy. Your mind should be cold. And again, this is specifically for guys who are kind of doing what I'm doing for the long term. This is not about just getting one girl and one girlfriend. This is about playing the game. And this is about playing the game for the long term. So, the cold mindset is what will help you survive. That's been my experiences. So yeah, the girl could be texting in a certain way, or in real life, when you guys are in person, or when y'all are in person, you and the girl. When you first meet, she could be giving indicators of interest, like, touching her hair, laughing a lot, maybe looking at your lips, or maybe even physically escalate on you. Who knows, right? Don't take anything too seriously. Acknowledge, right? It's good to acknowledge it and then still continue your thing, and don't let your idealism, your fantasy, or your future projection into the future of what you think is going to happen, or what you think should happen, don't let that really be what's the main focus. Like, the main focus should be you are going to be doing your thing, right? Which is, I'm going to talk to this girl. It's not about suppressing emotions, and it's not about not expressing yourself, right? You still want to talk in a way that has good tonality. You're expressing yourself well, and you're doing your thing, right? Whatever your game is. It's not about suppressing any of those qualities. I'm talking about cold as in the mindset. You're not swayed. Your internal is not swayed by whatever the fuck she's doing, right? You acknowledge what she's doing, but you're not swayed. You're not influenced heavily by what she's doing. It's acknowledged, and then you're gonna think strategically, like, okay, it could be this, but I'm not sure. I'm still gonna do my thing, right? We have to see before we get there, right? So it's like, for example, if she's giving indicators of interest, like touching her hair a lot, laughing a lot, guys can get caught up like, oh, I think she likes me. Most of the time, like, I feel like guys can't read girls at all. Cause I often hear when guys say they talk to a girl and The guy like gets overly invested in what the fuck the girl is doing instead of looking for actual investment, like actually coming out or actually going on a date, right? So focusing on that, right? You're still doing your thing, but then you're not over invested in whatever the fuck she's doing until she shows more real investment, such as coming out with you, coming back to your house, kissing you, texting you a lot to want to hang out with you, right? These are more higher investment behaviors. It's not full investment behaviors, but it's higher investment than just touching the hair or looking at your lips or laughing, right? That's like low investment. It's like, yeah, it could be something, but we need higher investment behaviors. So yeah, that's just an example of some of the behaviors that girls do. And again, back to what I was talking about, the mindset, it should be stillness, right? It's not, maybe cold is not a good word to describe it. It's about stillness of the mind and stillness of staying on the path of where you want to go with things, right? So it's like, okay, you know you like this girl or you're attracted to how she looks, and you know you want to take it to a certain place or point, right? Which is maybe sleep with her or maybe get a relationship with her, right? So that is basically like the primary goal, right? So whatever she does, it should not influence you. Like, for example, if she treats you really well and like feeds you food, right? Do not overinvest and start idealizing and fantasizing like a relationship at that point. It's about like, the thought should be, oh, that was nice she did that. That was pretty cool. But I need higher investment than just feeding me food, right? It's about having standards, right? For higher investment behaviors, right? And not be easily swayed by our emotions as males or our idealism or fantasy of our future projections of where we want things to go, or what we think is supposed to happen or what we think she wants, right? Not until we actually see real investment behaviors. Not the low investment stuff like laughing at your dumb jokes, smiling, touching hair, maybe even like physically escalate on you where she like touches your hand or shoulder. Like that's minor stuff. We don't want to get over invested as males over little things like that. Maybe she does come out. That's still low investment. It doesn't mean anything. She kisses you. It doesn't mean anything. That's still low investment. She feeds you food, right? These are all lower investment. It's like good, but it's not like something you as the male should overinvest emotionally in or fantasize about or idealize and project what you want to happen or what you think is going to happen. And again, your mind should be stillness, not cold, but stillness, like things are not affecting you, right? And when you're in that stillness state, it is like you're cold, but it's not. Cold is like it's not a good word because it gives the idea of like emotionally you're not there, but that's not what it is about. It's about stillness, right? Stillness of the mind, of the soul, of the goal, of the path, right? In the journey of where you're going to go, what you want to do, what you want, things like that, right? It is not about suppressing your feelings. It is not about suppressing your emotions. It is not about suppressing your expression, right? So that's kind of what cold would describe is you suppress those things, but it's more about stillness. But I feel cold is still a good word to describe what I'm trying to get at. Stillness, but be cold, right? Hope y'all get that. Now, this was actually inspired by, I was talking to my friend the other day, And by the way, I have quite a few friends that I talk game with and that I do game with. So whenever I mention a friend, it's kind of hard to tell who's who because I'm not really too specific. I usually just say like, my friend. But I'll just say I guess this is one of the main guys I usually talk to about game. So we'll just use that as the descriptor. He's pretty intelligent and his mind is like pretty intellectual and high up there. He also has the skills for it and he has experience, so it's a good combination. So yeah, I was talking to him about this phenomenon I noticed, and I was like, "Yo, bro, tell me if you notice this phenomenon or you experience this phenomenon." But I feel like when I'm really cold, like when I'm in the zone, is rarely have I ever been actually in that mindset, but I feel like when I am in that mindset and I'm really in that zone, I feel like the girls are trying to dominate me or like trap me or take something from me, right? This is what I said to him. And then he said, dominate you. And I'm like, I know. Not dominate in the way we're thinking, right? And let me explain. So this is me still talking to him, right? So I'm like, I mean dominate in a way that's like, I feel when I'm really cold to the girls are like trying to get me to like react or like get something from me. Like, even though they don't like me, right? And so I shared with him an example of one of the girls I hung out with. And this girl I've talked to her about her before on the channel. She was Chocolate's girl. So I brought up the story again and I said, you remember Chocolate's girl? He's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, so... And I kind of talked about the whole date again and how like before we met up, she was texting me in like a very excited way. And I told him how I didn't really react to it. So I didn't match her energy. Waited till she came out. She's still acting, kind of as if she's interested or whatever, right? But I was still cold. My mind was still still until I actually saw something significant. Anyways, at the end of the date, I wasn't sure where things were at, and she's kind of confusing. So I was like, let me just go in for the kiss, right? So I went in for the kiss. She dodges it. I tried again a little bit, and then she dodged it again. And I'm like, okay, cool. I know where things are at. And then she said, oh, can I give you a hug? And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. And so she hugged me. It was a real hug, too. It wasn't the half-hearted hug. Like, she actually gave a legit hug. She gave embracing full hug, a real hug. So I was like, okay, that's nice. At least she followed through like all the way with the hug at least, right? But I didn't really care about that. After I walked away from her that night, my mind, I knew it was done. Like, I wasn't planning on texting her, interacting with her. Nothing to do with her. I was already moved on to I was already thinking about new girls that I'm going to talk to and meet. So I walked away and my mindset was cold as fuck, right? And this is what I mean. Cold is a good word. It's cold as fuck. Because that's what the girl is experiencing. But it's more, for yourself, it's more about the stillness of the mind and heart. Like, you see how it is. You know what it is. And you're just moving on, right? And it comes across cold. Because I'm not really reacting to whatever the fuck she's doing, right? Like, I like to call it the pro-social facade. And I've been mentioning this phrase to some of my friends because this is what girls do, is they have this pro-social facade. And a lot of the times it seems like the girl is into you or could like you. But no, it's just a facade, right? You're falling for the trick. You're falling for the illusion, right? You're being delulu, as the girls like to say. So, when you as the guy, the male, the boy, the man, whatever word you want to use, when your mind is cold, when it is still, right, and you're moving forward, right, on to the next, either on to the next or you're just moving forward, you're moving past it, you leave the girl behind, you leave whatever happened behind, You don't even think about it too much. Just move on to the fucking next girl. That night, my heart and mind was still. My heart and mind was synced, and I was cold as fuck. And I notice when I'm really in that zone, it doesn't happen all the time. It's really rare because it's hard to be in that zone, in that mind state. Like your heart and mind has to be synced, and it's like you really have to be sure about what you're seeing and what you want, and what you're gonna go for. Yeah, it's hard to be in that mind state, but when I'm in that zone, let's say, right, in that state of mind, the cold state of mind, the stillness. And back to my friend, right? I told him I noticed this phenomenon where the girl, it feels like she's trying to get something from you, right? And I asked him, bro, like, do you know what's up with that? Like, I notice when I'm in that, really in that mind state, like, and I'm interacting with these girls or however I am, it's like they're like trying to get something from me, and like they turn up the pro-social facade, or not even turn up, they just like continue it, right? But it feels like they're trying to get something from me, so it feels like they're turning it up, but they're just being them, how they always are naturally most of the time, right? With the rest of the world and other people and other guys. I was like, yeah, what do you know what's up with that? Do you experience that? And he's like, yeah, I do. I have before. And so we were thinking about it, and he's like, okay, I'm about to get in the zone and think about the mechanics and why that happens. I'm like, yeah, let's get into it because I really want to know why. Like, what's up with that? So yeah, I wasn't sure about why like I was experiencing it with these girls who are doing this, right? It feels like they're trying to get something from me or like dominate me, right? It's like, and I kind of told them, it's like I feel when I'm really cold to the girls, it's like they're not used to it, because I think most guys act like a simp, right? Or they act super nice guy, and when you don't act like a nice guy, when you don't simp, and when you break the programming, right? You break the code, right? You break the matrix. The girls are like, what the hell's going on? It's like you break their reality. And it's not normal for them, right? They're like, the code is supposed to work this way. And so they're trying to like, they're like basically agents, right? And they're trying to get you back into the matrix. And you're trying to break away, right? And be free, independent, right? But the girl's like an agent. She's trying to like do whatever she can to drag you back into the code, the matrix. So yeah, now we talked quite at length about it and what kind of goes behind it, and he shared some other good thoughts, but I'm going to summarize basically his conclusions. Is that basically the girls need, well, this is part of my conclusion as well, so it's both of ours, right? So it was a collaboration. So I mentioned like, yeah, I think the girls like want the attention and validation, and when you don't give that to them, they kind of like are like, what the hell is going on? What the fuck? Right? They don't know what's happening, because like usually they get validation and attention from most guys. So when you as the guy, as the male, as the boy, man, are not doing that, they're like, what the hell? He's supposed to be acting in this way. You know, you're coded and programmed a certain way and conditioned a certain way. But no, you're independent. You're an anomaly, right? So it freaks them out. Not freak them. It doesn't freak them out, but they're just like, they're not used to it, right? So they're not used to it. So what he said was, my friend, is that, yeah, the girls, they may not want to do stuff with you, and they may like you, and they might think you're like okay cute, but not cute enough to like date you, relationship, or like have sex with you, right? They like, he basically said like they like you to a certain point, like maybe they'll hang out with you, right? But they're not gonna kiss you. Or maybe they'll they'll just like keep it at a certain point because they have multiple options, and you're basically not the number one option, right? You're the option that gives her validation and attention, right? But you're not good enough to get the other things from her, which is, well, not get the other things from her, but like, you're not good enough for her for you two to share a kiss together, or share a fun time together in bed, or share a relationship together, right? So yeah, you're only good up to a certain point, and then mainly you're there for attention and validation for them, right? Maybe they'll hang out with you just one time and get attention and validation through you flirting with her on the date a lot, right? Or kissing her. But then she doesn't want to get in a relationship with you. She might not even want to sleep with you, but she got the attention and validation she needed. And for girls and women, it's females, whatever word you want to use, they operate on the resource of attention and validation, right? And so when you, as the anomaly, when you operate a little differently, when your heart and mind are synced and there's stillness within you, and you don't fantasize about shit, you don't idealize shit, you're not really reacting to her shit, you're not really reacting to her behaviors in terms of like the pro-social facade, as I mentioned. They're not used to that, right? They're not used to that. And so this is where the phenomenon comes in, where I mentioned like they're trying to get the attention and validation because they're not used to it, right? You're not when you're a certain way, you're this anomaly, right? It's like the girl's like, what the hell, right? It's not normal. So that's what it is. That's the phenomenon that happens, that I've experienced a couple of times. I can share other stories, but another time, right? It's video is quite long already. We'll save that for another time. But y'all got the point with the examples I already gave, some of them. And so, yeah, I'll wrap it up. So the conclusion: girls, women, females, they need attention and validation. And when your mind and heart is cold, and when there's stillness and like a neutral peacefulness, and you're not reacting to her behavior until she actually shows high investment, actual investment, they're not used to it because they're used to boys, males, and men falling for the pro-social facade. They're used to that, right? So it's an anomaly when a guy doesn't really fall for that, and he just does his thing. He knows what he wants, goes for it, doesn't work out, moves on. The girls aren't really used to that. But mentally, it is healthier and emotionally healthier for us as guys to have that coldness and that stillness for us, and not to fall for the pro-social facade, right? And not give the validation and attention away, because that's our energy, right? We're giving freely, and we can't just be giving it out like that, right? You conserve it for actually girls who deserve it, for women who deserve it, for females who deserve it. Anyways, that's my message and topic for today. So I hope y'all like that. To wrap it up, conclude: be cold, be still. Don't fall for the pro-social facade. Wait for actually high investment behaviors. Don't be swayed by your fantasies, by your idealism. Do not project into the future. Stay in the present moment. Enjoy the moment. And it's not about suppressing any emotions, right? Express yourself fully. Be there fully in the present moment. Do your thing still. But do not fall for the pro-social facade. Okay? Hope that was clear. And that's it. I'll see y'all for the next video.